everybody, and welcome to a very tantalizing episode of Y'all We Read It. My name is Laura. I'm one of your hosts.
My name is Meggie, and I am the other host.
And you've really come to the culmination of our 13th season, our 13th reason why, if you will.
Your 13th reason why, and my 13th reason why I'm still living. So, my 13th reason... Who? I don't know. I don't know what the opposite of that would be.
I don't know either.
How?
But anyway, we've been... who? What? Where? Anyway, we've been reading Twilight. We're finishing up Breaking Dawn this episode. And obviously next week will be our kind of wrap up of the whole season where we kind of get our final aggressions and thoughts and feelings and everything out. It's very therapeutic when we do those. So we can fully say goodbye and send Twilight off. But before we do that, we have to talk about the remainder of the 400 pages in this book, because my God, is this book so fucking long.
Yeah, it really drags, and Laura's probably going to be shocked to hear that I do actually have about 7 pages on the last 400 pages, which is...
That's really low for you, Meggie.
I know, it is really low, but it also is pretty gracious for how little happens in this section.
I think the last 250 pages, I only had 2 post-it notes worth of things that were noteworthy to remember, which is insane.
That's good of you. But you always pick up on things that I don't. And
you always pick up on things that I don't. Yeah, and that's what makes a podcast.
That's kind of what makes us podcast duos who are looking to be picked up by a big time network. If anyone's looking.
I would love if a podcast network was listening right now and was like, we need a literary podcast on this network. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Penguin Random House is doing for podcasts. I don't know what Earwolf is. Is it Earwolf? Earwolf is doing for podcasts. I'm just making up ones at this point.
Hey, we don't know. Someone reach out to someone reach out on our behalf. We're too tired. We can't.
We're too tired. We're too sleepy. Just like our protagonist Bella, we are in pain. That's where we left off. That was my segue into saying that.
Hell yeah, nailed it. Because as we might recall, we left off of Jacob's point of view, where he has recently imprinted on the newborn, fully teethed infant, Renesmee. Disgusting. Bella is...
Sorry, Laura, but I respect you a lot. And first of all, I would never imprint on your baby. I want you to know that.
That's a real friend, people. Listen to this.
Secondly, I would never want to fuck your baby, mostly because I just watched it rip its way out of your fucking body.
Yeah.
I would be pissed
If anything,
off.
I'd be so pissed at that baby if it ripped my way out of my best friend's stomach. Are you fucking kidding me? That baby's going out. That baby has to go in the timeout corner.
How could I even be attracted to it knowing that the last remaining pieces of your flesh is under its fingernails?
Exactly. How could I be attracted to a little baby that doesn't even have open eyes yet? Because babies are always have eyes closed. I don't even know what its face looks like.
Exactly. So I guess Laura and I are just better friends than Jacob and Bella.
Yeah, Jacob's a really bad friend, and Bella's also a bad friend. So I guess that kind of makes them great for each other in the world of friendship.
Yeah, actually,
they're both so bad at being friends.
You might actually be right about that.
Yeah.
So Jacob wants to fuck Bella's babies where we left off. And we switched to Bella's point of view. I mean, she doesn't even know this yet. She's in for a whirlwind of an adventure. And she's in a lot of pain.
Yeah, and this is an interesting scene because she wakes up and gets handed her baby and then just passes out again. So I was like, why did we think that handing her baby Renesmee was a good idea if we know that she's chock full of morphine and vampire venom and in the transitional period? That was not smart.
She's described as being ripped apart, dipped into a vat of acid, but it all seems worth it when she sees her baby smile for the first time. A, quote, wide, deliberate smile where behind the shell pink lips is quite a full complement of my favorite line in this series, snowy milk teeth.
Ugh,
I love snowy milk teeth. I was telling everyone at work, I work in a dentist office now, keep up, that snowy milk teeth is the rarest of teeth that you could have as a baby.
Yeah, especially because babies don't have teeth, so it's super rare. But anyway, she's kind of in this dreamlike state for a couple of pages. She can hear Carlisle and Edward talking about her behind her back over her dead body, basically being she's taking to the venom nicely.
Yeah, she's overtaken by this heat. Could be vampire venom, could be menopause. Really, who's to say at this point?
Okay, question. Do you think women who are turned into vampires go through menopause immediately because you don't really probably get a period anymore?
Oh my god, maybe. Maybe they're just like, your body's like, yeah, we gotta get this all out of the way. So you're just going through hot flashes.
That could be it. I'd be really interested to find out the terms and conditions of that.
Yeah, it's essentially just pages of her wanting to die. And I wrote, what
Yeah.
difference is turning into a vampire?
Relatable.
Yeah, exactly, from real life. Like, really, I do that all the time. So maybe I
Yeah.
should just be a vampire.
Yeah, my also favorite thing about this is we have these like pages of like agonizing pain and everything going on, and then she wakes up and it's just fine. She wakes up, senses are heightened, I'm good. Like there's no like easing into like awareness and everything. It's just kind of like, nope, snap of the finger, she's good now.
And Stephanie Meyer tries to paint it as her turning into a vampire is worse than the normal ones because the morphine is essentially like a weighted blanket on her brain and her body where she is kind of having like sleep paralysis and she can't move. She like can't
Yeah.
open her mouth and scream because she's like, I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt Edward's feelings. So she's doing this really fun thing where she just doesn't tell him she's in pain.
Yeah, which is like also speak your truth, Bella. Like you don't need to look cool right now.
Exactly. We need her to listen to a female empowerment presentation on TED Talks where it's just like,
but anyway,
live your truth.
Yeah. Anyway, she wakes up, all of her senses are heightened. She talks about the sharpness of her eyes and the sounds and the smells and everything. The Cullens come to her and they're like, "You've awoken our little monster." And Bella immediately gets her first kiss as a vampire and she's like, "Oh dip, this is hot."
Readers, she's back and she's horny as fuck.
And not even, and my also favorite thing about this, they're not like, "Bella, you're awake. Let's introduce you to your baby now that you're a fully conscious vampire." They're like, "Bella, let's have you jump out this window and go hunting. We can talk about your baby in 20 pages. And I'm like, if you just gave birth, you probably would want to, maybe see the baby real quick. But no, we're going to skip over that for a while, I guess.
Carlisle is like, we have to go hunting because you can't be around the baby until then. And Alice is really excited about seeing her hunt. She's like, wait, first of all, before we go hunting, you have to see yourself. And Bella takes in her much whiter skin. And she's like,
Yeah.
I'm a beautiful little pearl. Look at how pretty I am. Because Alice just holds a mirror up to her.
Yeah, like Alice is really excited to be like, you guys didn't tell me. She was like, I have to show Bella her new appearance. And Edward's like, come with me, my sweet vampire darling. I will teach you the ways of the hunt. And my favorite is like, he's like, let's jump out of this like 3rd-story window because it's faster than using the back door. And Bella's like, whoa. Maybe this is a little too much. I just had a baby gnaw its way through my stomach.
Yeah, so I mean, but he throws her right into it. She puts on this little party dress that Alice laid out for her to go hunting in, which I don't know. I kind of wouldn't want to go hunting in heels. She literally has heels on.
Yeah, and she destroys this dress while she's hunting. She like acknowledges that she's covered in blood by the end of it.
Yes. While they are out hunting, she does smell a human. She starts barreling towards it, but Edward stops her quickly. She does almost attack him, which immediately she starts apologizing for. But Edward's like, no, wait, I'm like so impressed that you stopped and had the consciousness to not go after that human.
He's
That's
like, wow,
crazy.
it's kind of hot that you're so rational as a newborn vampire. And then she eats a mountain lion, so she's able to quench her thirst in other ways.
I didn't think you were gonna say eats a mountain lion. I thought you were gonna say, and then she eats him out, and I was like, wait, what book did you read? 'Cause I want that one.
And then she eats him out. She gnaws his pee off.
She eats his ass. So after this, Bella's like, I gotta see Renesmee. I did the hunting thing that you guys asked of. So Edward's kind of giving her the 411 on their baby. He says she's warm-blooded.
Yeah, he very much leaves out the fact that Jacob's been hanging around this whole time.
Yeah, he really leaves that for last. He's like, she's warm-blooded. She loves blood. She's kind of not like the other girls. Jacob is gonna have something to tell you, but I'm gonna let him say it.
Yeah, and so they go back to the house, and Jacob's like, "Wow, hey guys, what's up? I'm still here. I'm basically living at the Cullen house now." And he is really okay with how Bella looks as a vampire. He's like, "Love the new digs, Bella," which I was kind of upset by it because like Jacob was so mad at her turning for so long, and there's not even like any question of doubt of how he's going to get used to this, or like any sort of like, oh, this is so weird seeing somebody like I knew as a human now as a vampire. He's just like, nope, I'm okay, which I was kind of pissed about.
Fake friend. His loyalty shifts so easily.
Yeah.
Boo.
And speaking of, he does not want her to see her baby, which is also a bad friend. He's like I pictured it as like Bella trying to enter the room, and he keeps just like stepping in front of her, being like, "Oh, hey Bella, don't you want to go like I don't know, don't you want to go like take a shower or like maybe you should take a nap? Probably turning into a vampire is like pretty tiring. Maybe you should go like relax somewhere for a little bit. You don't need to see the baby right now."
And she's like, listen, this thing just ripped apart my whole body. I think that I've earned it.
Yeah.
And she's wondering, why is he being so defensive? Why is he being like, actually, you should try smelling my blood as a free tutorial before you subscribe to the 30-day, challenge of being around your child.
And something else Bella has to question right now is why is Renesmee getting so big so fast? She does not look like a newborn infant. She already looks like she's like months old, which is crazy to her.
Yeah, this baby is wild. On top of just growing at the rate of a Harlem Globetrotter, she also has this little handy dandy talent where she can touch your face and see memories. And that's how she talks.
Like share memories, and that's like how she does it. And because Renesmee is able to like share memories, Bella is able to realize through this that Jacob has imprinted on her infant, and she is rightfully pissed.
He's like, oh, come on, Bells, I don't want to fuck the baby yet. Besides,
I just want to fuck it in maybe like, I don't know, he's like 10 years, 12. 15, 20.
He keeps towering under her. He keeps adding numbers as he sees her getting really stressed and pissed.
That's so funny to think about, being like, I just want to fuck her like later. Maybe like 5, 10, 10, 12, 10, 12, 13 years, 14 years?
I mean, besides, didn't you say we were family and we had to be in each other's lives in some way? Now I'm your son-in-law.
He literally says that, like pretty much word for word in the book. I know it sounded like Meggie was joking, but he does make that excuse of like being like, you said like you always wanted me to be in your life, and like this is exactly the way to do it. I've just fallen in love with your baby.
Gaslight girl, keep Kate boss, because I mean that is a good switcheroo on his behalf.
Yeah. And Bella absolutely does go to attack him. It does fail. She kind of gets held back by some other people and ends up swiping Seth a little bit.
Yeah.
And Seth's such a himbo. He's like, you're all good, Bells. That was awesome.
Seth does end up breaking his shoulder. But she doesn't bite anyone because vampire venom is poison to the werewolves. Yeah. So, I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
Now Sam's pack also has to like them because they can't kill the object of a brethren's desire. Yeah. So things are kind of turning up Jacob. Now.
Jacob's like, this is a win-win-win. He's like, in 10, 12, 14 years, I'm going to get to fuck this baby. I don't have these werewolves mad at me.
All my friends are happy. No one is judging me besides the mother of the child that I want to fuck. Actually, people are pretty cool with it.
Everything's turning up Jacob.
Everything's turning up Jacob.
Really Bella is starting to think of the reality of like the world she's in now. She's starting to think like, maybe I could tell Charlie. Like I seem to be handling this pretty well. Or maybe I should just tell him that I died. Maybe it would be best to like leave Forks for good. So she has kind of this awareness of like, we got to figure out the game plan here.
And they're also concerned with the Charlie thing because they're like, all right, how are we gonna spin the narrative of this child who can't stop growing? And I was kind of confused about what their concern was about the child growing 2 inches a day. Does it mean like she'll die sooner? She just can't fit on a Disney cruise? Like, why are we so concerned?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, why didn't they just say it's like, oh, this is like Carlisle's niece or something? That's all they have to do, you know? But I digress. But anyway, Carlisle is measuring Renesmee 4 times a day because this girl is growing, like Meggie said, as fast as a Harlem Globetrotter.
Fast.
And during this exchange that we find this out, Bella is holding Renesmee and can see that like the baby also feels like she wants Jacob, which just hurt my stomach. That was disgusting.
Yeah, it's kind of framed as like Jacob is hers too, but I mean...
But it's like, what does a baby know?
What does
What
a
does a
baby
baby know?
Why
Someone
are
tell
we
me what
letting
this baby knows.
make executive
Well,
decisions?
yeah. Why would you be like, no, maybe my baby is, doesn't have object permanence just yet, so we shouldn't allow this. This is bad.
She doesn't even know the whole breadth and wonder of sexuality. What if she's bisexual? What if she's
Yeah.
a late in life les? Like,
exactly.
What are we
exactly.
doing?
This baby's too young to make decisions.
Meanwhile, Bella is being surprisingly calm as a newborn, and this kind of infuriates Jasper because he's like, well, it wasn't that easy for me when I was a newborn. So,
and Bella's like,
jealous?
relax, Jasper. You were a Confederate.
Moving on, Jasper.
Moving on, Jasper. Stop making this about you. I'm the protagonist and you're racist.
Exactly. Plus, it's Bella's birthday now, so she gets to make everything about her.
Yeah, it's her 19th birthday, but Bella's like, nope, I'm not aging anymore. And Alice is like, shut up. We're just like throwing you a birthday party. We also have a present for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they give Bella and Edward a like little cottage on the property so they can have sex in it, essentially.
Yeah, it's her and Edward's fucking den.
Yeah, because it's like the other vampires, like, like Rosalie and Emmett, Alice and Jasper, they don't have other properties on the property. They don't have other homes. They all just live in this house. But they give Bella and Edward a place that they can just go fuck, essentially.
Yeah, they're like, okay, so we're just gonna stay in the big glass mansion where we all fuck so much it's just the house is constantly shaking.
Well, and like they did a very fast turnaround time with this cottage. Like it's been built in like a month or two.
That is true. That is true.
So I can't imagine it would withstand the sheer force of vampire sex as we've just been described to.
Esme put her whole vampussy into redesigning that cottage.
Yeah, she's building houses like when they do the house upgrades in Animal Crossing, where it's just really fast and then suddenly you have a new house.
Wait, okay. Oh, God, it sucks. Because I know that Edward's a virgin and like he wasn't interested in Rosalie, but they're technically not family. Do you think it ever crossed their mind to like switch and share?
I honestly, like, in my mind, I would have preferred it if like they tried dating when like they were first turned, like when she was first turned. I think this would have made it, oh my gosh, I have so many things that I could go on and on and on about of like ways I would have made this book series better. But I would have loved if Rosalie and Edward were exes and they tried to date when she was first turned, because Edward like appreciated what Carlisle had done and it was like, maybe I'm gonna try to shove this triangle peg into the square hole,
I think that vampires could have threesomes, but do you think vampires have the emotional capacity to be poly? I feel like they have too big of emotions and they would get jealous.
I feel like they're too emotional. Yeah, I feel like they're very monogamous people. Unless you're like one of those vampires like in Dracula time that's like, I'm just gonna go out and find me a lady and like seduce her for the night. Until you're locked down,
Okay, so all vampires in all series are monogamous, but we can both agree the What We Do in the Shadows vampires are poly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like at a base level, vampires are sluts. And when they are in relationships, they're very monogamous.
I'm happy we got that out of the way.
Yeah, that's really important for the listeners to know where we stand on this issue. Where do we leave off? Okay,
so it is
fucking cottage.
Time.
Yep.
Yes. They're going to this beautiful little cottage. Luckily, in their fucking den, there is a room for Nessie, so she can stay there nonstop.
And hear them have sex.
During their sex fest. Bella does wonder when they ever learn to control their desire and stop having sex, because I mean, like, I would. And he mentions that Emmett and Rosalie didn't stop fucking for a decade.
Yeah. So like, that's crazy. But we do also learn that vampire sex is better than human sex from the sex cottage. So that is a very important detail. Then next chapter, we get a bomb drop. Mm-hmm. Jacob is being a piece of shit.
What a wild card.
Waltzes in to the Cullens and is like, well, I heard some vampires, everyone in this room, were planning on leaving Forks, Washington in a huff, and I don't like that because you're stealing that sexy little baby from me. So I told Charlie that I'm a werewolf, and now he thinks you guys are weird. And so he's gonna come here and talk to you about it. Like, it's insane. It's actually insane that he's like, I'm going to really go off course here to get my way.
Everyone gets really mad at him and he's like, whoa, 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 it's fine. I turned into a werewolf in front of him. So he kind of like could visualize the wacky things that might be happening to you.
Yeah, and he's like, I also told him that there is an infant child here. I didn't tell him whose it was though. So like, what's the deal?
Yeah, he mentions that Charlie's now a grandpa to this fantastically weird beast who can't stop growing. Congratulations, Charlie.
It's actually like, I can't believe that they didn't like banish him. I feel like I would be like, dude, you're literally, we literally can't have another Volturi situation on our hands. Why would you do this?
I feel like his anger issues don't come from being a werewolf. I think it comes from ADHD. I think he makes a decision and then doesn't think about the consequences.
But like also in my mind, it's like, why did Jacob think this would make them want to stay and associate with him more? He's a ticking time bomb. If somebody did that to me and I was in this situation, I'd be like, I'm absolutely leaving on the first train out of here. I don't want you anywhere near my family.
So they're all scrambling to make sure that they can make ends meet because Charlie is on his way over. But everything is turning up Jacob because this is exactly what he wanted.
He's like, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. Alice gives Bella colored eye contact. Esme tells her you have to practice breathing and making motions like crossing your legs and like picking at your fingers and twirling your hair like you're a human. Don't sit too still. Pretend to breathe.
Yeah. And Charlie, he shows up, and they were too focused on like the human elements of this, so they didn't have much time to really lock in their excuse on why there's a child here.
Yeah.
But Edward swoops in and is like, "This is my niece. I have another real biological brother, and he had a wife, and they both died, and so I was shipped this child, and Bella and I have decided to be its parents."
And he kind of has a don't ask, don't tell policy where he just wants to know as much as is fine for normal life to unfold. He kind of knows that she was dying. This was necessary, which is wild. And as Charlie kind of heads out, they leave it like on coming up with a game plan for telling Renee, like her mother, on what's going on.
Yeah. And we don't see any of that. I don't even think in this book we even see that where they tell Renee.
We don't.
No.
I did ask my dad though, like if I were to die, like if this situation was to happen to me where I was dying and I became a vampire, would he rather I fake my own death and never tell him, or would he like to see me? And he said, quote, "I would still like to see you, but I'd never see you out in the daylight." And then I'd clarify to him that he can see me. And then he said, "I would rather be in my daughter's life and not ask questions about how weird circumstances are, kind of like the questions you're asking me right now." And I said, that was nice.
That's a very Charlie reaction. Charlie's like, "I'd like to see you, don't want to know any of the details."
He also mentioned that it would be harder for me because I have to watch him die. And then I got really sad. And then I asked, what would Mom say? And he said, Mom would say, "Why are you asking? This is stupid." And then he would hang up and ask what is wrong with me to him.
Yeah, that's a very Mary reaction. Classic Mary.
I wrote that down. I had to get it in.
We get a lovely little side scene after this where Bella challenges Emmett to an arm wrestling competition so he'll stop making sex jokes around her. And then she wins.
He was laying it on thick.
Oh my god, and rightfully so. Bella's threatened their family's life more than once. The least Bella can do is let Emmett make some little jabs here and there, you know?
Yeah, seriously. So Charlie, before he leaves, he promises to come back later. And in the meantime, Bella is making plans to go to the Volturi alone because I really don't follow this thread, but
I'm so glad you said that because I tried to read like this like kind of plan as it develops multiple times. And I was like, this makes no sense.
She's thinking if she goes to the Volturi and reveals that she is a vampire, then no one will see, because she obviously is a shield, no one can get past her like memories or something, that she had a baby, and that like that's the only reason that the Volturi would come is to check that she's a vampire and that everything's fine because she's a vampire.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. We then cut to her like first few months as a vampire, so we're stewing on this plan for a little bit. We learned that Renesmee has started speaking at 1 week old and walking by 3 weeks old. And 3 months is basically like a full ass toddler. So she is speeding through.
Yes, they are making plans to go to Brazil to try to figure out why Renesmee is growing so fast. And you're like, hey,
Yeah.
why Brazil?
Doesn't explain. They don't explain.
We don't even
We
know.
don't know. We don't know. We really don't know. But we also this is also where it gets so confusing because like they're going to go to Italy and also Brazil. Like the plan, I guess, is like back-to-back trips. We don't know which one's first and which one's second. We just know the Italy one is, I guess, for the Volturi, and the Brazil trip is, I guess, to maybe get some answers on Renesmee by whom. We don't know.
We don't know.
And we also know that Jacob is planning on coming to both of these trips because he cannot stand to be away from this baby.
He can't. So before they do this, there's another fun twist where Jacob, Bella, as we expect, they hunt. Renesmee hunts too. Why not?
She's old enough to hunt, I guess.
She's old enough. So they're out hunting because she loves animal blood. Again, she's not like the other girls. She loves blood.
Yeah.
And while they are out hunting, Irina, one of the vegetarian Alaskan vampires who was kind of running around with Laurent for a little bit, spots them from a hill, gets mad, and runs away. So Bella's like, oh, she's probably pissed because I'm with Jacob, who killed Laurent. That's probably why she's so mad.
Yeah, and so she's like, hey, Edward, can you come here? And so he trots out into the woods, and she's like, could you go look for Irina? She was just here a minute ago. She saw Jacob. She saw the baby. This doesn't seem good. And they can't find her. They can't find her at all.
Do things escalate quickly? Alice has a vision that all of the Volturi, even the wives who never leave their tower, whatever that is, are coming for them. And they piece together that's because Irina thinks that Renesmee is one of the immortal children, one of the kids that vampires can turn and you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's illegal in their world. You can't turn kids into vampires.
And Emmett, he's down because he's like, okay, they're coming, we're fighting. Like, it's not even like what are we gonna do? He's like, we're gonna fight back. And it's like, you can't fight the Volturi. They're too powerful. So the Cullens are kind of in like panic planning mode of like, what are we gonna do? When are they gonna come? What's gonna happen?
They're rounding up all their friends. Meanwhile, bad news bears, they're wondering where Alice and Jasper went because they assumed she's probably going off to find people to fight them. But it turns out Alice and Jasper straight up abandoned them.
They swam away in the ocean. And they also told Sam, like, hey, can you wait by the ocean for when they come looking for us so you can hand them this note? And Sam's like, sure. So he's like, hey, they went into the ocean. Here's this note. And basically just says, hey, we're gone. Ask some other people for help. Peace.
Yes, the note that Alice wrote on too was from Merchant of Venice, a Shakespeare book that Bella had back in the cottage. So she pieces together that she should go back to the cottage. She finds that Alice has left a note to a name and address in Seattle and also asked Bella to burn The Merchant of Venice. Pretty sad. Love that book, but she does.
Yeah, she does. Now it's basically an escape room for Bella to figure out what's going on here. Mm-hmm. But the Cullens are regrouping. They're talking about the situation. Edward does not think Jacob should be involved in this. He's like, this isn't really a you thing, Jacob. It's more of an us thing. And Jacob's like, everything that concerns this child concerns me. And Bella's like, I don't care if he's here or not. All I want is Renesmee to be safe. But like while she's doing this, she's also searching online for this name, which is Jay Jenks, to kind of figure out who the hell is this guy.
She also has to learn fighting. Like, she is a newborn, yeah, but that's not going to do much against these ancient vampires. So she asks Edward to train her for the upcoming battle, and they realize that Bella can block out a lot of the Volturi's gifts in her head because she is a shield.
Yeah. We get our first round of vampire friends that are going to come witness the Volturi attack. So we get Tanya, Kate, Eleazar, and Carmen, who are mostly introduced in this book. Tanya, I know, is a name we've heard a bunch, but these other people are brand new characters. They show them Renesmee, and they're like, okay, we see that this baby isn't a threat. We'll witness for you.
Yes. The rest of the tallies, they realize that this baby's a product of a human and vampire fucking, and they're like, "Oh, okay, so normal." And they let the baby touch their faces and communicate through thoughts, and that's how
Yeah.
they learn to trust Renesmee.
Yeah. And they're like, now that we know you're a shield, Bella, and that your baby's cool, you should try to see if you could shield other people with your mind. So Bella's going to start working on that because that would be a cool thing to get to do if the Volturi show up.
It would, because they figure out that Aro's bringing a whole ass army because he's
Yeah.
hoping to acquire Alice to his team and also maybe a few stragglers.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you're gonna need a shield for that.
Yeah,
That's for
but
sure.
vampires are coming from all over to show their support for the Coens, which is very nice of them. And
One of them can
and
control the elements, which is cool, and that one is
yeah.
named Benjamin, and he's played by Rami Malek in the movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mhm.
My favorite thing about this is like they just kind of keep housing these vampires in the Cullen house, so it gives very much like family reunion vibes. But also during this, Bella's like, "Hey, so great that all these vampires are showing up for like, and the Volturi are still coming. So when are you gonna teach me how to fight?" And Edward goes, "Oh, I can't teach you how to fight. I love you too much." And it's like, if you love her, wouldn't you want her to be able to defend herself in the event of a fight?
But
And he's like, I can't. You have. He goes, I don't know. Maybe go ask someone else.
He's like, I can see all the ways I can kill you, and that makes me sad. Okay.
But like, wouldn't you want her to like be able? You're not actually gonna fight her. You're gonna show her what she needs to do, Edward. That's what you're gonna do.
Luckily, Kate, one of the vampires, steps in and she teaches her how to use her shield by challenging her with Renesmee and is like, "I'm gonna shock your baby if you don't figure out how to use this shield." And this is when Bella realizes that she can push her shield kind of like a rubber band that might snap back to include other people underneath it.
Yeah. She learns it very quickly. I was honestly expecting this to be kind of like a oh, we're down to the wire here and it works all of a sudden. But like, nope, she figures it out pretty quickly, which is kind of lame in my opinion. But
yeah,
what have you. Bella goes on a little side quest now. She takes Jacob and Renesmee to Charlie's to leave them there so she can go find this mysterious Jay Jenks.
She gets to the place that Alice left, and it's actually a different address that some man on the street has to send her to a new one. And it's supposed to be like a seedy part of Seattle, but I mean, she's a vampire. Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And it feels like Jay Jenks can tell she's a vampire, but their business is like forging citizens' papers, like birth certificates and shit.
Yeah. And so Bella is like, oh, Alice wanted to lead me here to get documents. So she gets documents for Jacob and Renesmee.
And their names are going to be Jacob Wolf, age 27, and Vanessa Wolf, age 5.
Yeah. So which I wonder is, then how are they supposed to be related? Is it an uncle niece situation? Are we implying that they're married? Bella, what's the goal here?
Don't worry, because in between this scene we have a montage where they celebrate Renesmee's first Christmas. And if you had any questions if Jacob was uncle, if he was boyfriend status, he puts all those questions to rest when he gives Renesmee a promise ring for her first Christmas.
That's so heinous. It's
I hate it.
What is this kindergartner going to do with a promise ring? It's a choking hazard.
Probably try to swallow it. Like,
yeah.
What is he thinking? She can't even really talk. She communicates by putting her hand on your face.
Can't read. Like,
I don't know.
She literally probably hasn't been potty trained yet. This is horrible to me.
No, but she deserves that engagement ring, essentially.
Oh my God. Jacob proposes in front. He's like, now that everybody we love is here. And Charlie's like, wait, what?
He doesn't even have to get on a knee. He just lays on his stomach. She's so small.
He holds her up like a little Simba. Gives her a little uppies to.
He's like, okay, I sat her on the couch. Can someone support her head, please? Please.
He's like wearing a tuxedo to propose, and
She's like in her baptismal font gown because it's white and it works.
oh no.
I hate it. The Collins house is tense, not because of this, but because some vampires are choosing to stay, and some are choosing to leave.
Yeah, but a lot of vampires do agree to fight the Volturi in the case that like something's gonna go down. Bella also goes to pick up the papers from Jay Jenks. He asks too many questions about like what's going on with this man and this baby, and Bella's like, don't question it, please. And then they can keep prepping for the fight. It's like a good 20 pages where nothing really happens. They're just kind of preparing and getting papers and preparing some more.
They just get papers. The plan is she's going to send Jake and Renesmee to Rio de Janeiro and kind of, fingers crossed, Alice and Jasper find them. Bella indicates to Renesmee before they're going into battle, they're not always going to be together, but they will always be together in her heart, which is something you always want to hear from your mom. Some confusing, vague shit.
Well, remember, Renesmee is 5, so in her head, I'm sure she doesn't acknowledge the sentiment here. She's just kind of like, sure, whatever. Because again, she's a literal child.
She touches Bella's forehead, and Bella can sense that she's sad, and then she touches it again, and all she sees is Coco Melon, and Bella's like, maybe not the time, Renesmee.
Yeah, just Paw Patrol. And Bella's like, no, not now. We're not going home to watch Paw Patrol.
We're not gonna put on Paw Patrol, buddy.
So now is the time the Volturi arrive. And in slow motion, honestly, they're just walking into this field. And like, again, I really thought like we'd get some like cool run-ins. We get some people just dropping from the sky. Nope, they're just moseying on in there. Same field from the last book too.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlisle's like, should I talk to them? Should Carlisle, should I try talking to them? Is that weird if I try talking to them?
Yeah, it seems like it's a real standoff. We have 32 people on the Volturi side. The Collins side seems way thinner from that.
Yeah, they at max when they had everybody there, they had 17, and with some people gone, they obviously have less than that now.
Aro is kind of realizing on the Volturi side, a lot of witnesses have shown up for Renesmee, which might in fact mean that she is half vampire, half human. And they're kind of pulling at their hair to be like, what's a reason we can attack?
Yeah. And say what you will about Aro, but he really wants to hear every single possible side of the story. Because he's like, okay, Carlisle, you spoke. Now I will speak to Edward. Bella has also casted her shield for this entire thing just in case. He's like, okay, now that I know this from Edward, I want to meet the baby. Let me meet the baby. So the baby comes out and she shows him Paw Patrol. No, she shows him her memories and is like, please don't hurt my family. And I was like, let me confer if I should hurt your family or not.
Yes, they're really finding no reason to attack. I mean, they're trying every single angle.
Yeah.
Cassius, I don't even know his name, on the Volturi side, he's like, well, how about the werewolves? And this is where we learn that the pack isn't actually, quote, true children of the moon because they don't infect people. They're actually just shapeshifters. Yeah.
We learned that there's a second type of werewolf with 30 pages of this book left to go, which is stupid, but okay.
So Case calls Irina in front of him. I mean, obviously Irina's going to get killed because she lied about the child being an immortal child.
Yeah, Aro's like, Irina, do you feel bad for what you did? You got all of us, all 30 plus of us to come all the way down here to investigate this baby, and it's not an issue. So do you have anything to say for yourself? Do you still think it's an issue? And she goes, no, I don't think it's an issue still.
He's like, we had to pause Paw Patrol for this.
And he's like, yeah, it's a great show.
So he's kind of hoping that Tanya and Kate will attack, which would give them a reason to attack
but
after they kill her sister.
They decimate Irina. And Tanya and Kate are pissed, but like they're like, hold strong, you two. You'll get over it.
Yes, Garrett is holding back Kate because he's taken a liking to her, and Garrett is played by Lee Pace in the movie.
Nice.
I don't know if you need to know that, but
I didn't, but now I do. And then Aro talks to another vampire named Eamon. And Eamon's like, this is such a weird exchange to have. Eamon's like, hey, so we came here. We don't think the baby's a problem. We also don't want to be a part of what's about to happen. Can we leave? And I was like, yeah, you guys can leave. And so Eamon and his partner are just allowed to run off and leave.
Aro was kind of like, but will the child always be? And this is where Garrett, played by Lee Pace in the movie, is fed up. He has a little speech where he's like, they're going to attack us. We're going to die anyways. Hey, does anyone on the Volturi side want to join us? And some of the Volturi are fucking over it. This is when they start leaving. They're like, I don't care about this. I need to go back and watch Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
I left in a really good spot.
And the Volturi, they're not even making moves to fight. Their whole thing is they're just going to keep debating and conferring internally. And so while they're talking, Bella's like, now's our chance. So Bella gives her an Esme to Jacob and like hands him all the papers and says goodbye and like is like, run. And then we get a moment where all of the vampires are just saying like, well, it was nice knowing you. Can't believe we're all going to die now. This is crazy. And when they wait.
They're trying to push through Bella's shield to no avail. Bella's really smug about that. And the earth seemingly opens as Jane's brother Alec tries to decapacitate them, but he can't get through Bella's shield. And this is where Benjamin, played by Rami Malek in the movie, uses Mother Nature powers, and it combines to create this like fissure in the earth. So there's essentially like a crack down battle lines.
Yeah. And yeah, Bella's a good thing Bella learned how to cast her shield on, 10 plus people really quickly because boy is it coming in handy. And then before anything can even like go further, Edward's like, let's pause for a second, gang. This has been fun all talking out here, but I've got almost as if we're on like a prank show. He's like, let's bring Alice back out, people. Let's get a round of applause for Alice. So Edward, I guess, has been in cahoots with Alice this whole time.
The Price is Right theme plays.
Yeah.
Alice comes
they have
out.
to guess how many people they think Alice brought to this party.
Yes. She has 3 other people in tow. One of them is a boy who is the nephew of this woman whose sister was impregnated by a vampire. He bit his mother on the way out, so his mom died, but his aunt didn't. And we learned that he reached maturity at 7 years old and has been living for 150 years.
Yeah, because like the Volturi's whole thing is like, well, we don't know what's going to happen to this little baby demon vampire when it gets older. Like, is it going to become a threat? And having this little vampire here who's been 150 years old just tells us, no, it's not going to be an issue. He's chill. He's fine. He stopped growing.
So this is where Aro kind of decides that, maybe the battle isn't here. There's actually this guy who is the father of the guy that Alice found in Brazil. He is a vampire named Joe Ham, and he is impregnating human women to create a super army.
Yeah, so they're like, whoa, we gotta go there. That's Volturi time. We'll record Paw Patrol on the DVR, and we'll come back to it later. So
there's no fight. There's
no fight.
No fight.
Nope. The fight is called off on like page 730 something, and there's no action.
And it's all because Bella's strong shield.
Yeah, they really used their words, and it was fine.
Bella does chew out Alice a bit for up and leaving out of nowhere, and Naul, the half vampire, half human, is realizing, wow, look at this beautiful vampire Bella. I guess it's kind of not my fault I killed my mom. So, I mean, 150 years of carrying that guilt, I guess maybe that is a pretty good ending for Breaking Dawn to feel alleviated of it.
Yeah, and then Edward and Bella go back to their cottage and just say that they love each other, and that's really where the book ends.
Yeah, she does this reverse move where now that she figured out she can keep everyone out, she can also let him into her mind at times, and they kind of do it's just a super cut of us moment with her memories.
It's mind meld. Yeah, they're just playing the improv game Mind Meld in their cottage.
They do, and afterwards they break from sex to play Zip Zap Zop.
Yeah. And then they play, and then they have more sex, and then they play Red Ball after that.
Oh my god, not Red Ball. I forgot about that.
Oh, that one's so dumb. And that's it. That's Breaking Dawn.
Well, should we do canceled character of this section or of the entire series? Or
let's do this section because we'll do the whole series on our wrap up next week. I
think we're probably gonna agree, right?
Is it gonna be Jacob again?
Yeah. No, last time it was Quimby?
Oh, it was Quill
Quill?
Quimby or whatever the fuck his name is.
Because we saw
It
that
was
in action
him.
and we didn't like that.
Yeah, no, I think we have to cancel Jacob for the action of giving a baby a promise ring.
That was fucking crazy. Why did
That
he
was
do that?
Yeah, and also why would Stephanie Meyer write that and be like, again, this is a normal plot point, everything's fine.
Can you imagine him trying to put it on her finger and it's like a size 7 and he's like, we
He
can get it
keeps trying
fitted.
to give it to her, and since she's a baby, she just keeps throwing it. And he goes, "No, shoot. Okay, Renesmee, put the ring on." She just keeps tossing it.
Oh my god, she would immediately swallow it. I'm sorry,
Exactly.
she's a baby.
Like I said, it's a choking hazard. It's not okay.
Jesus Christ.
So
right.
funny.
Moving on.
Let's do our top 5.
Yes. For top 5, I mean, there were so many which ways that this book went that I think with part 2, we really wanted to see the top 5 things we thought were missing from this book.
Yeah, with 750 pages and Meggie and I starting like the last almost 400 pages for part 2, I was expecting a big bang to really go off at the end, but we didn't really get any of that. So this is our top 5 of things that we really wanted to see in this latter half of the book.
I agree. Do you want to go or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
On our number 5 here is we wanted to kind of revisit the part where Charlie found out that werewolves existed. I was really hoping for some sort of closure talk, or that he kind of like learns that, you know, maybe the Cullens are not humans and he's chill with it, or maybe he's not, or maybe he just says he has to get used to it, but something to kind of put it to rest that initial kind of inciting incident with Charlie. It was weird that we didn't revisit that at all.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there was so much that was left unsaid.
Yeah.
And with your papa, you cannot do that.
You cannot do that.
You cannot do that. Number 4, we kind of don't want Alice and Jasper to come back. I mean, they should retire somewhere. She is the most wanted of the Cullens. I would be stressed about the Volturi coming for me.
Yeah, when they left and she, like, I was like, I kind of dope, because you don't expect it from Alice, especially who's been so helpful. Mm-hmm. So to have like a good flawed moment where Alice does get up and leave with Jasper, and if they didn't return and were just like, peace, I think that would have hit so much harder.
I think so too.
Number 3, Rosalie's a really big part of this first book, and she is not mentioned really in the second half. So Meggie and I were saying that we were kind of hoping that Rosalie would like die in some way, shape, or form, because that would have been, you know, very impactful. I know, Meggie, you had some ways that you wished she would have died.
I wanted her to die from either a greyhound barreling over her at 10,000 miles an hour, or Laura pitched this one, Emmett splits her in half with his dick.
Hell yeah. That's rad.
I think that's love. That's the Romeo and Juliet we actually disapproved.
Yeah.
Number 2, I mean, come on. We wanted the Volturi to actually fight them.
Yeah, especially after Garrett was going in on them in the monologue that he was giving. He was like, these guys suck. We should fight them. They are bad. He was really giving them all the reasons to just be like, shut up, my guy. We're going to fight you.
I mean, where's the flair? Where's the razzle dazzle? There's no order to things anymore.
Yeah. We even got a fight just described to us last book. So the fact that we didn't even get that is really disheartening.
Ridiculous.
And number 1, where's the follow through on what happens to Jacob and Renesmee when she becomes of age? Meggie and I would have like loved, in addition to this fight happening, they actually do run away. They run away to Rio de Janeiro. And then when like Renesmee grows up, she realizes that she was groomed because she's really smart. And she's like, I'm not really into this. Jacob's always going to be Unky Jake to me. And then she gets to have an affair with somebody who's her age.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
That's the future I think that we can both see.
Yeah. I would have loved that. I think there's something about like my awareness of imprinting that I so badly want someone on the receiving side of that to be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, not interested. Thanks.
And I think once your frontal lobe developed, you would definitely be like, this is kind of fucked up.
Exactly.
But what's not fucked up is following us on all social media platforms. We are on Twitter and TikTok at Yaoi Reddit. We're on Instagram at Meggie_and_Laura. And we're at your favorite place in the world, Gmail.
Hey. Give it up for Gmail, my guys.
We love Gmail. We are Meggie and Laura Present at gmail.com. We are slowly making our way through emails.
Oh boy, we gotta catch up, but I think a lot of them are spam, so that's also on us.
I have an admin day set aside where I'm gonna pop a Vyvanse and just go MIA.
Ooh, So I we'd love to hear that.
Well, thank you.
And that's going to be that. And then next week, we will be back with our just kind of final conclusion of season 13, Twilight. And then we'll also talk about what's next for Yahweh Reddit. Where are we going next? Where are we not going next? Who are we?
Who are we? Who are you? Who am I? In the meantime, listeners, make sure to break dawn and bust dick.
Nice. I thought you were going to say break wind, but bust dick is good too.
Trying to think of another BD.
Okay, love you guys.